This is John G. Presco coming to you live from Springfield, Oregon. And I might have lost my last video, but I'm going to jump right into my next one here. Keep on talking. I was talking about the fall of the Iron Curtain in 1992, how Michael Kent, a cousin of Queen Elizabeth, reached out to Russia. He had some programs to culture programs. He had the uh, Getty over there to do his pump jack at the St. George Chapel, where Harry and William were married uh, to their wives. Okay, so we're looking at the possibility that American universities did not teach uh, about the European Union picnic, how that helped uh, bring about the fall of the Iron Curtain. I believe they didn't want uh, white, well, white young people going to Europe to be educated. In the 60s, the early 60s, even the late 50s, it was common for uh, families to send their children to Europe uh, after college or before they go to college. There was always this going to Europe and getting in touch with your European roots. And for some reason, that ended. It seemed to be pretty, in my estimation, and I was young when I was noticing this because I was a young bohemian artist poet. It looked like that was part of being a liberal and a bohemian, and an artist, an educated person that wasn't going to rush into your evangelical neo-Confederate church and say, "Hey, I need some culture. I need to get in touch with some of my white culture." Oh yeah, you come to the right place. Here's a Confederate flag. Here's a 12-pack of beer. There's some pretty women. Go tubing, and you're a white person. Well, we're talking about Jim Jones University made war on the United States of America because they took away their tax exemption, and they came up with eventually the Tea Party and other the anti-abortion, anti-liberal uh, crusade, which has created the Civil War that we are on the edge of, the new Civil War. And I believe this relates to Putin's civil war with Ukraine. He, Putin did come up with these Nazi camps before he became converted to ultra Christian or Russian Orthodox. He was trying to imitate the liberal hippie movement, uh, which basically brought down the Soviet Union because the young people wanted to, Beatle music and to play guitar and wear blue jeans. They didn't want to fight in the war in Afghanistan. So I talked about all that earlier. So I want to investigate whether there was a conspiracy amongst major universities to keep white people from going over to Europe to be educated after the fall of the Soviet Union. They could have gone to Czechoslovakia, Poland, Romania, other nations like that, and got a good education, probably for half the price or less. They could have lived over there cheaply. Their parents could have sent them their check to live over in Finland for next to nothing and get a good education. They also learn another language. Now, um, how to end the Cold War. There's protests going on in Russia right now, and the penalty for protesting is very severe. You get arrested, you'll be punished, you'll probably be beaten while you're in jail. They'll make it almost possible for you to get a job once you get out. You'll become a branded pariah of society. So everybody you see protesting against the war in Ukraine know that they're destroying their lives. And that was what the U.S. government did, the young people, when they protested against the war in Vietnam. They want to make sure that their lives are good and ruined and destroyed. And I know, because I was there and I protested. And that's one of the reasons they legalized marijuana, and when they made LSD illegal, they wanted to put people away for as much as, a pot seed. It was a U.S. military against the citizens of Berkeley and Oakland, San Francisco, for being anti-war. So we are guilty of Putin-like tactics here. I know, I was there. And when Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton got into office, they should have opened up Europe right away. But, I have to investigate what a Rhodes Scholar is. I mean, were they approached by major universities that said, hey, don't open up European colleges to white citizens of the United States, because that they'll flock over there, and we won't be making our money. We might have to close down our universities if all the white Americans are over there having a good liberal time. So they may want to make sure that drugs are very, very illegal over there, and if you get caught with drugs in Europe, your life is ruined. And a lot of that is still going on. I live in the state of Oregon, where marijuana has been legalized, and some other drugs, because ruining people's lives is not the solution. A lot of these people end up homeless, and now we have a homeless problem and a drug problem combined. And now we're on. Well, we're in a third world war. This Ackerman billionaire says so, and this game has been going on with the fight over the minds of young people, and that's where we have to look to a solution. I spend a lot of time on TikTok because most of it's young people, but there are old people there, people my age, and it's a really democratic, liberal place. There's no borders. There's people from all over the place, Europe and China and everywhere on TikTok. And you can really see what they want, how they develop, what their conversations are like, what their education is like, what it is they're going to get out of life with what they know, what knowledge they've gained. And these trying to control people's minds, when you look at TikTok, it's like, why? What's wrong with their minds? What's happening to their minds that's so drastic that these governments have to spend $1 trillion suppressing young people on their minds? What is it that comes out of the mind that's so dangerous? And this is what I was asking when I was 12, 13, 14, as a teenager. I wanted to be an artist and a poet and a writer. And yeah, I was attracted to the beatniks, but wow, what were they doing that was so crazy? What was the dangerous thing that young people were coming up with? That's the question we're at now. That is this worth getting nuked? This is what I was asking with my other videos. Is it, you know, is what's happening to the young people of Russia so disastrous that Putin's got to nuke all of Europe to stop? Oh, they got to stop doing something to the youth of Russia? What? What's being done to them? That's so horrible. That's the question. And he was even saying, well, it's worth Russia to be nuked to destroy, to stop this. Stop what? But what needs to be stopped? Let's describe it. Let's just get together and why wasn't this discussed in our universities? Well, it was at Berkeley. They put a stop to that. The military put a stop to that because they had a lot of military contracts going through UC Berkeley. And the regents were in the back pocket of the military industrial complex. A lot of war machines were invented, and the Livermore Lab and atomic warfare was coming out of UC Berkeley. And so we looked at the industrial complex that made a lot of money during World War II and wanted to make more money by starting Vietnam and other wars. And you could say Putin made a lot of money with the fall of the Soviet Union. He was right next to Yeltsin when it happened. He says, well, I'm going to become an oligarch. I'll get these other wealthy people, Russians together. It mimic United States of America, and we'll get a Orthodox Christian right, just like United States of America. We'll try to control the mind of the youth, just like United States of America. We'll oppress liberals, socialist, non-Christian young people, just like the United States of America. See, the United States of America is the blueprint Putin is using. And this is why his relationship with Donald Trump was sort of like a natural. Hey, it's a given. Hey, this guy's easy. I could get this guy to pretty much to go along with my program, but he just got into a program. Trump did come out of the university military industrial complex system. And the Christian right went for him like a big dog, and so did Putin, because they have similar systems set up. And Putin won, no hands down. Even though he had all these evangelicals praying, laying hands on him in the Oval Office. He really liked Putin, cut of his jibs. I want to be like that guy. He's all powerful. He's a dictator. I want to be an all powerful dictator, make people afraid. I want big marches and big, army parades going up Pennsylvania. I'm sitting there in the big box with all this decoration around me. That's what I want. Whee! The evangelicals go, well, wait a minute. You haven't heard our host Billy. I don't want to know. I don't want to, keep your Jesus, speak to yourself. I'll just pretend I read the Bible, pretend that I'm, on your side. Okay. And they go, okay, I guess it's okay. Yeah, let's just try it and see if it works. The guy could tell the truth to save his ass. Everything came out of his mouth as a lie. And they go, okay, we can, even though God is the truth and Jesus was the truth and all this, we'll just go along with, oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we'll just say he's King David. See, it's not funny. Because we're talking about 63% of the people in the United States believe they're going to get nuked. because of this civil war. It's a holy civil war that's going on between Russia and Ukraine. They don't want the liberal influence. It's the liberal, uh, it's the conservative Pharisees against the liberal Pharisees. And that's why they crucified Jesus, because he created the debt archive revolt that led to the war, uh, the Jews against Rome, that Joseph's historian recorded. And then he says he was in charge. He was part of this debt archives army, and they put him in charge of protecting, of going after the debt archives in this city or something. And apparently they did. And then he became a quisling. So basically, he was trying to save the debt archives because the temple system was, the corrupt temple system was based upon this. And what Jesus was, and the liberal Pharisees, what they were doing was bringing Jews from all over the diaspora to the temple so they could visit it before you die. You got to go there once for this final sort of commune. And a lot of Jews were going into debt and selling their land and their grandchildren's land to pay for this, and going into debt, and their children were having to work off this debt. And this whole scene of Jesus whipping the money lenders, and that's never explained. They said that they were converting foreign coins into shekels, kosher coins, so they could be handed to buy animals to sacrifice. But he was whipping. I said, where'd he get the damn whip? See, and then when I saw the phylactery, the leather strappings on the arms of the Pharisees, I said, that's what he was using. That was his whip. He unwrapped the phylactery and was whipping them with basically the reminder that God is your master. He brought you out of slavery in Egypt. So you are slaves unto him. You're not supposed to be playing around with these Roman slaves and acting like Roman slave masters, and that's what I meant, slave masters, enslaving the Jewish people of God. So he's whipping them with the phylactery. See, doesn't that make sense to you? And that's basically what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, it's the high noon. It's the high noon show. I'm not going to turn. Yeah, I better do it. So I just say, as I'm talking about Jesus coming into the temple and unwrapping his phylactery off his arm and whipping the money lenders, and probably the Pharisees, the conservative Pharisees who supported that and helped suppress the Jubilee that Jesus and the liberal debt archive Pharisees were restoring. They said, no, we're going to, after 7 years, you're no longer an indentured slave, and the land that you gave to pay off your debt is returned to you. And that's what he was doing with Judas, giving him 30 pieces of silver, because that was his brother. And he said, go get our land back. Go pay the debt off, and we get the land. Well, guess what land that is? That's Ruth's land. That's the threshing floor, which the temple was built on. So Jesus is saying, saying, go get our land back, and let's get Herod's temple scraped off Ruth's land. That's Moabite, you know, land that Boaz promised to Ruth. So he was up there uh, reading from the book of Ruth before they arrested him. See, and there was this whole performance about him as King David doing penance for counting the Jews and bringing a plague. See, so when Judas went down, handed them the money, you know, that said basically, our land is now our land again. You mind getting off of it? And they had a furious fit. And they went up there and arrested a lot of people. Now, they didn't just arrest Jesus, they arrested a lot of people, a lot of these liberal Pharisees. And Paul was a conservative Pharisee. And I believe he knew Jesus. So Jesus wasn't dead when they rode to Damascus. He was alive. See, you figure that one out yet? No. Paul was hunting down Jesus when he was alive and his followers, and he was putting them in jail. He was boiling their children in oil to get them to renounce their Lord. So what Lord were they supposed to renounce? See, it's all been altered, people. We keep coming back to this point of history where if God intervened, made things right, well, people don't like God and don't want to be his subjects, keep altering his truth. He's an abolitionist God. He wanted his children to be free, be fruitful, and multiply. He wanted them to be knowledgeable, to know their Torah, to have wisdom like Solomon. They were basically going to college when they were young. When they're 13, they graduated from college. They could recite the Torah without reading it, looking at it almost by heart. So what I want to found right now is the United International Universal University, where in what well, I'm telling you, for white people, because white people got to get along. And my friend Marilyn and Kenny Reed, they never understood why I was trying to restore the Jubilee and why I was talking about the Turnverein Germans and the Turnvereiners and the 48er Revolution, and why I wanted to back them and what their movement was. I said, if I don't or someone doesn't esteem the white people in America, they're going to become neo-Confederates. Oh, no, they're not, John. You're just being racist. It's your natural racist. You just don't want to be guilty of being born racist, prejudiced against black people. I said, nope, not my people. And my grandfathers didn't follow Hitler. They were all over here. When they got here, as soon as they got off the ship, they put on a Union uniform. They went down south and killed them insurrectionist bastards down there in the south. Where my people come from? My mother's people, the Rosamond family. So don't lay your guilt trip on me. Yeah, that's So she didn't think it was going to happen, and Trump got elected. I said, I told you so. I said, you keep putting in the face that all white people are guilty. All white people are racist. See, and that's what's going on with Putin. I mean, he's going after the Ukrainians like nobody's going after anybody. And when I first saw this, I said, you know, I bet you black people in America are really, really confused about what they're seeing. They say, my God, do white people hate white people too? It's not funny, but it is because people are ignorant. You thought, oh, but those people are ignorant. And the innocent people are paying the price. There are almost 1 million refugees. Children are being murdered by Putin and jets and soldiers and bombs. Uh, Hideous. Absolutely, it's terrorism. And what did the Ukrainian people do? I'm telling you, there's been this unresolved battle going on this planet. It was supposed to have been settled by the Son of God, but he wasn't the Son of God in the sense that they turned him into, but they turned Jesus into a Roman deity and made him friendly to Rome and hate the Jews. The whole mystery of the secret kingdom in Mark 4, and oh, don't tell the Jews that I healed you. All that was invented after the war against Rome that was fought by the Jews. In the Masada, where they held out, and now we got Zelensky, a Jew that's replicated the Jewish hero. What's his name? Oh boy, he's going to be compared to him. But he held off at Masada, the Roman legion, for quite a while. And he's come back. And he's trying to wake us up to who the real enemy is and why and what they're doing. So I spoke in 27 minutes, probably an hour. We've got to start with creating a universal college that's connected with Europe, where there's basically a foreign exchange. We got to get rid of all student debt now. All student debt abolished now. And I'm going to be talking with Peter DeFazio, President Biden, and oh my gosh, I forgot it's Bernie Sanders about doing this. Because you've got to put the solution out there now. You can't look at we'll talk about the Pope's College and Jacques Rosemont founding the Pope's College because Pope Adrian the 14th, he was the only Pope from Holland, and he was made the Pope because the Medicis were abusing the papacy, putting their rich family members, making them the Pope, and they were commissioning all this incredible art. It became extremely decadent. And so he created the Pope's Poor College. My alleged kin, Gottlieb Rosemont, was the executor of his will. He says, he said, only poor people. He said, the leaders of the church have got to come from poor boys. They can't come from rich boys. And so he wrote it out. He says, I want a poor boys' college. And Rosemont made one, and he was the master of Louvain and the master of the Hawks Art College. in Amsterdam, in Louvain. So that's it. We got to make the plan. Get all the universities on board. Stop the Cold War and uh, student loan debt. We got to begin all over. We got to get it right. We're not going to be bargaining with this group and bargaining with that group. Because if they drop all the bombs, we're going to be equal. We're going to be incinerated equally. It'll be make everybody universally alike. Nobody will have any more power than anybody else because we'll all be dust, vaporized dust. Right. Get it together. Save the future. The future begins today. The future are our young. That's who we're going to save. We're going to build an ark. We're going to build an ark of knowledge and good reasons to have knowledge in your brain instead of bad reasons. And as for this Z they're putting on the tanks, Zardos. It's a private joke, but look at the movie Zardos, Wizard of Oz, and Putin has his army put Z on their tanks. All right, you have a good one.